All right, bottom tier. Now let me tell you first, this bottom tier, you guys are really bad. Except the first one I'm going to tell you. The first one, this is when I was teetering, and if I had more time in middle tier, since YouTube's only 10-minute per time clips, I might have probably put you in the middle tier. But instead you're on the bottom tier. But let's just say that you're floating like in between, like the bottom middle. Like lower middle class, which is great, right? Now it's not all your fault because you took over a team that was sucky, and by now you should know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about the Barroom Heroes, Mr. Newcomer Michael Delheimer. What can I say? You got Michael Vick, number one fantasy guy, 300 points last year. This is the thing about Michael Vick. He just never put up passing numbers like he did last year. I just don't see it happening again. Not saying that he's not going to be a great fantasy thing. And if he does have a year again, he can practically carry your team to the playoffs, even with the complete trash that you have under him. He could carry your team. With that said, I don't think he will. I do think that he will buy you a few wins this year. Will it be enough? I just don't see it happening. But you got to start him. He's a good quarterback for fantasy. And last year he was a great quarterback for regular too. So hopefully he has the same year for your sake. If he doesn't, like I said, you're definitely bottom of the barrel, my friend. Let's move on. Running backs, Felix Jones. The one plus thing is he is going to get a lot more touches, especially with Marion Barber gone this year. The bad news is Dallas throws a fucking lot. I mean, a lot. They throw a lot. And I don't see it changing this year. They did now, however, ever since Garrett took over head coach last year, Felix Jones averaged 17 carries a game. Before Jason Garrett took over, he averaged 12. 5 more carries, a lot more points. So that's a plus. We'll see if that continues, but I definitely see they're more of a passing team. Romo wasn't back last year. Felix Jones is number one running back. A little bit of a stretch. Ryan Matthews. Why would you get Ryan Matthews again? The guy had nothing last time. You have the number one touchdown vulture on his team. He has Mike Tolbert on his team. And you're taking Ryan Matthews. The man will not score a touchdown unless if it's outside of 10 yards. Almost guaranteed. Unless if Tolbert breaks an ankle, a hip, and loses an arm. Because if he loses just an arm and breaks a hip and nothing happens to his knee or his ankle, they still give him the ball on the goal line before Ryan Matthews. It's a guarantee. Flex spot. Mark Ingram, I think you jumped a little bit the gun on in the draft. But he could definitely turn out well. And this is a keeper league. And if he turns out well, he's not going to be a top 10 running back. I definitely don't think. Top 20, it could happen. Especially looking at preseason, they were giving the ball a lot around the goal line. And either way, if he turns out great and then you have him keeper, he's a young stud. You can keep him for a long time. I definitely can't blame you for it. We'll see how he pans out this year for you. Receiver, I think, is a strong point for you. Miles Austin in Dallas. Mike Williams in Pitt. You got 2 burners. Great thing about burners, both of them were in the top 15 last year. Great thing about burners, too, though, is they score a lot of points a few games. But the thing is, they also score very minimal points a few games. So I can definitely see with your type of team that you put up like 160 one week and then you put up like 42 the next week. Will that be the case? I don't know, but I mean that's the kind of projection that your team is screaming here. Justin Keller is a tight end. Like him, Mark Sanchez still a little bitch. He always throws to his tight end, so whatever. Got that. Bears defense. I don't know why you would do that. Have you watched the Bears defense lately? Anyhow, but you do have a good bench. You got a starting running back in Marshawn Lynch, Sam Bradford, who's a good quarterback. He's not as great as what people hype him as fantasy, but he's still a good quarterback. They make him throw a lot. Johnny Knox, I do like Johnny Knox. I don't see him seeing a lot of playing time for you, nor do I see him as someone that is a trade bait. So I'm not crazy about him. Mike Sims Walker in Seattle or St. Louis, that could turn out really well. I do like him. All your other people are completely insignificant. Don't want to talk about them. But anyhow, welcome to the lower middle class, my friend. Next, we have. Actually, I really do like this name. So. Shake Bush and Feeling a Breeze. I really like it, Jeff. You got to tell me if you actually came up with this or if you've seen it somewhere else and you kind of adopted it for the league. So you got to tell me this. I'm sorry that I'm putting you in the bottom tier. I know you were kind of hoping that things would turn around. You're like Taco if you watch the league in this league, but that's okay. You know, Taco's good. He did win one year. He didn't know he did, but he won one year. Quarterback Drew Brees. He's always going to be in the top 5, top 6, top 7 quarterbacks. He's going to give you a good amount of points. Not much I can say about Drew Brees. Everybody knows him. Peyton Hillis, his arrow is pointing down. He was number 4 running back last year. We know it's not going to happen again. Hope for top 10, okay? Hope for top 10. Jarvis Green Ellis, I actually like the Jarvis Green Ellis. He gets a lot more points and a lot more touches than people think he does playing as a running back for the New England Patriots. He averages over 10 points. Like him, keep him. Good player. Flex spot, Austin Collie. With no Manning, there's no Collie. And the other thing is, he's hurt constantly. You better look for another spot or another player to fill that spot. Other receiver, Hakeem Nicks from the Giants. Hakeem, like I said before about some others, he's a burner, but he showed he's got incredible hands, and Eli looks for him in the red zone. A lot of points for him. I definitely see him staying in the top 10 this year in receivers. Wes Welker, he's always going to give you solid points. He's not going to give you those 20, 24 points a game, but he's going to give you solid points. He'll never give you 1 or 2. 7, 8, 9, 7, 8, 9. You got to love it. Welker, solid player. Tight end Dallas Clark, like I said again, it's all about Manning. Dallas Clark is amazing. Without Manning, he's going to be very good. Your bench, Sidney Rice, great, no one to throw to. Joe Flacco, disappointing to me. C.J. Spiller could be better. Hopefully he's better than last year. Jordan Shipley, Danny Woodhead. Anybody on New England's offense, not too bad, but he's up and down, so I'm not really crazy about him. But for a spot start, he might not be too bad. Anyhow, if we were going D-Rose, if we were going by just names, I give you the number 1 slot. Okay, awesome job. The other bottom tier, Clone Centurions. German, I'm sorry. I'm going to blame it on you being, a foreigner, but your team sucks. All right, Josh Freeman, I like him. He's one of the only people other than your receivers that I like. He's going to give you good points. We'll see how he progresses again this year. They were really, you're going to need LeGarrette Blount to be as good as he was last year for Freeman to keep it up. I'm just going to tell you that. Mike Williams, he's solid. Josh Freeman is solid, but he's going to still need that running game to help keep it up. Ahmad Bradshaw, don't love Ahmad. And look in the preseason, I tell you what, Brandon Jacobs looked like old Brandon Jacobs. And if he is, watch out. Kenny Britt, Tennessee, don't like him throwing away. He's not even in the top 20 receivers to me. Goodbye. But Larry Fitzgerald, Kelvin Johnson, both are going to be top 10. Larry Fitzgerald fell off last year. That's probably why your team sucked so bad last year. Kevin Kolb, and they're going to throw it a lot. Definitely see Larry Fitzgerald jump up the charts. On your bench, Peyton Manning, of course, he's hurt, so you got him on the bench. Daniel Thomas from Miami, not crazy about him. Ocho Cinco, that could actually work out really well for you. He hasn't been great lately, but he also wasn't on the Patriots and didn't have Tom Brady throwing to him. So we'll see. Anyhow, you're in the bottom tier. You're not making the playoffs, so just enjoy the ride. And last in the bottom tier, we got Team Dershfall. Aaron Rodgers, amazing. He's going to get you some wins in the league. Jay Cutler, I like Jay Cutler. I like him as a fantasy quarterback, especially for a spot filling. But you're never going to start him because you have the same bye week as Aaron Rodgers. He'll never start. So trade him away or dump him because there's no need. Running back Matt Forte, really like him. Javid Best, he's going to have a really good year this year if he stays healthy. Jeremy Macklin, like him, but he's just solid. Michael Crabtree should never have been a keeper. You could have kept somebody else. And hopefully he stays healthy and gives you some points. I want him to do great. Hopefully he does. But Dwayne Bowe, good receiver. He's #1 last year. He's not going to be that, but he's staying in the top 10 this year. Greg Olsen for Carolina. I know you know Greg because he's a Bear or was a Bear. But in Carolina, especially with that piece of shit throwing to him, not going to happen. Bench Cutler, Pierre Thomas, Mercedes Lewis, Lance Moore, Jordy Nelson, Roy Williams, Matt Castle. No, 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 and no. Welcome to the bottom of the league. Hopefully something else turns up, but that's my draft wrap, guys. If you don't like the tier that I put you in, prove me wrong. Bite me. Oh, and as always, this is a friendly, what is this? This is a weekly announcement from your friendly neighborhood LM. Have a good day, guys.